Hey, I'm Maria and welcome to Atmo Journeys, Path to Wellness. This is a space where we can talk openly and learn from each other. Atmo Journeys is our go-to place for inspiration, a moment in our day where we feel seen, heard, and part of large community. Today I'm happy to introduce Milena, a psychologist from Bulgaria, who will share her personal journey of managing panic attacks and panic disorder. To her unique perspective as both an expert and a person with lived experience, we will learn how addressing mental health challenges can lead to growth and self-discovery. Hey Milena, I'm very happy to see you and thank you that you accepted my invitation to join Atmo Journeys podcast. And to be that brave person that's gonna share her personal story to our audience.
You're very welcome.
Thank you. At the beginning, I'd like to give you a space to introduce yourself to our audience, to more about you. Who are you?
Okay, so I'm 42 years old. Um, I'm I'm married. I have one child, and we're living in a small town in Bulgaria. Uh, as a small family. Um, I is that enough as a presentation, or you would like to know something more?
It's up to you. I give the full freedom to everyone to share their thoughts and what exactly like people to know about themselves.
Okay, so I'm a psychologist, like psychotherapist, if I have to be like more specific. And I'm working in the field of mental health for like more like 20 years or something. But I have, of course, my personal journey, which is outside of my professional career. So I think that today we will talk about more about my personal journey. Yeah.
Definitely for right now, I'd like to bring the personal journeys on the front line. But today I can say that you're going to be a different guest because during our conversation, you are an expert. Meanwhile, you have your personal journey. And I think it's going to be quite interest that switching, you know. I think that in one moment you're going to talk like the Milena, but meanwhile you're going to incorporate gently the expert Milena. And I believe it's going to be also very insightful for us to know maybe more specific things from the psychologist perspective. And one of the things that I know about you, yeah, you said that you're a psychologist, but I know that you work in a hospital. So you don't have right now, I'm not sure, but I think that you don't have that typical private practice, which means that many experts like you, they have their office and work individually or maybe be a part of some clinic. The specific thing here is that you work in a hospital. And I'm curious, is having a psychologist on the board is popular for Bulgarian hospitals?
It is not. There are a few hospitals in Bulgaria that have psychologists inside. Um, for the state-funded hospitals, I'm aware of only one that has psychologists inside, and it's a national military hospital. But it was structured like that many years ago because the military people somehow decided that they need psychologists in their teams. But all the other state-funded hospitals, we don't have psychologists. We have psychologists only in the private hospitals, and it's a private initiative from the board that rules the hospital. So we are not that many in Bulgaria. Yeah, there are a few psychologists in Bulgaria in the hospital.
Do you have any visibility about other European countries? What about there, and how popular is that approach is it a practice, the hospitals, to have also psychologists in the board?
Um, I have spoke with several people in our hospital that are patients in my hospital that are from European countries. And they said that usually there are a psychologist in the hospital, but you have to ask the staff to provide you with a psychologist in your room if you needed it. It's like they're on call, something like that. But I believe that they do have most of the big hospitals. They do have psychologists inside, and mainly within a psychiatric wards. And when a psychiatric ward has psychologists, maybe the whole hospital is using the services if other wards needed it.
I see. I see. What is, yeah, I see. What is the benefit? I mean, I'm sure that many people can assume in general the benefits to have a psychologist on the board in a hospital. But can you just list pointed maybe?
What are the benefits? So usually, the doctors are calling me when our modern medicine cannot offer any further help. For example, we have some stillbirths in Bulgaria where baby die inside mother, and they come to the hospital to get the baby out of the mother. So these are mothers which I'm working very close with for several weeks because it's a huge loss. They call me when there is like a cancer situation or pre-cancer situation, especially with the young people, because they usually talk first with the parents, which is quite shocking enough, and then with the patient itself. So I am called when modern medicine cannot help further. If a modern medicine can help and there is a light on the end of the tunnel, they do not call me. So, yeah. And of course, big surgeries are built when the surgeon are not quite positive if the outcome will be good, and the patient needs to take a huge decision if to be operated or not. And this is what they call me pretty often. So they call me for very tough cases.
See, and you don't have that enough time to work with the patients, I assume, because I'm talking from my personal experience with psychologists, and I remember that in the time we spoken with her, and she explained to me that the the scope of work that psychologists has is it's not like to visit a dentist and to fix your teeth, you know.
Yes.
Takes time and requires about 2-3 meetings because of the situation of the trust. Let's say that she said, I know that takes time to you to trust me and to openly start to talk with me, because this is something like a common for everyone who visited psychologists for first time. And while I listen to you right now, I explain that, you know, you are just you're working on demand. You know, if someone just took you, put you somewhere and say, try to fix that person. But I believe that you can't, but somehow you have to be very, very effective.
Yeah. So psychology work is not emergency work. For emergency situation, we use medication from psychiatrists. Psychiatrists can prescribe medication that works very fast, like within seconds and minutes if they're injected. In psychology, we don't have that kind of tools to 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 do something magical for a few seconds. But I'm trying to, like, how to say, to calm a little bit the situation, so to give a space for the people to breathe a little bit, and then not to make decision in a state when it's obvious that they are not present in the moment. There's in so much shock. So yeah, sometimes I have very nice results, sometimes I don't, and then I work with those people individually for weeks to come.
Yeah, I see. I'm very. I told you first first time when we spoke about your professional duties that I'm very happy to hear that in Bulgaria somehow there are hospitals that develop that maturity and understand that it's not only about the physical support, you know, the that scope of work that they used to have. It's about the mentality, and maybe they also understand that the patient treatment includes not only the standard medicine actions and so on that they used to do. It's very important the mentality of the patient, how calm they are, because this also affects the how effective is going to be the in general the treatment. And I'm very happy to know that in Bulgaria maybe still is not so popular, but yeah, it's amazing news that we have few hospitals. It's amazing. I'd like to ask you from the beginning. You said that you have your personal experience also, not only develop understanding and maturity from your professional experience. And I'd like to ask you to share more about that experience.
The personal experience. Yeah. So it was maybe like 15 or something years ago when I was in my early 20s. And I went through some hard times in my personal life. And it was a summer night, very warm and very nice. Um, eh, I was at home that night, and it suddenly, with my body, happened something for the first time that was so unfamiliar and so scary that I asked my father to rush me to the emergency care because my heartbeat was very high. I can feel it like in my throat that is beating so much faster than usual. And I was struggling to grasp some air. And I thought that I'm dying from a heart attack. And when you go to the emergency care with symptoms like that, they really take you right away inside and start examination and tests. And they told me that my heart is pretty not, well. I have no heart disease. I will not have any stroke or something like wrongly happening with my heart. And maybe I just need to calm down. And they gave me some medicine and they sent me home. And I was pretty shocked of what is going on with me. It was something that I have never experienced before. And in several days, it uh, repeated once again, and then once again. And pretty soon, it was happening like every 2 to 3 days or something like that. But the funny thing was that nobody in the emergency care back then uh, was explaining to me what exactly is going on because um, they see me there every 2 to 3 days, usually in the evenings, and nobody was approaching me with some further information how to help myself back then. And I started to read more carefully and to talk with a colleague of mine. And this is where I found in one book that I am experiencing panic attacks. And this book was this international classification of disease, and it is something that is issued by World Health Organization. And I have it in my office back then, and I was just scrolling through the pages, and I just found myself inside. It was so funny because it was like me who wrote this. It was so well. It, it described so well my experiences. It was like if you make me read how I was feeling, this was the exact word that I would pick up. And and it was so funny. I was start laughing. It was like, what's going on here? Like somebody spying on me. Yeah. And I started to speak with another colleagues that were more like experienced back then with this kind of mental health struggles. And I managed to reach a very nice psychotherapist in Sofia back then, which explained me. She was very, very kind doctor, and she explained me what exactly I'm going through and what are my options. Yeah, and this was the time when I really count myself, because I thought, okay, I know what is it now. I can um, be like in peace with myself that I'm not going to die. It's not something that is life threatening, and um, I I just went on with my life back then. Until maybe 2010, like several years later, it came back even furious than before. And this first doctor that I reached in Sofia, she was no longer working in Bulgaria. She went to work somewhere in I'm not sure where exactly, maybe in Germany. She went in Germany or Holland. And I reached to another doctor um, in Sofia. And because this time I was having panic attacks maybe every day, not only during the night, but during the day as well. And it is very hard to live with that symptoms almost every day. He told me that now I have panic disorder, which he said that if you have more than 3 panic attacks in the week, then it's panic disorder already. And if it's hard to cope and you cannot go to work and you cannot go out with the friends or just go on with your daily life, then you need to take medications. And I said, okay, I will take any kind of medication. I just need to go back to some kind of normality. Now, it, like back then, it was so severe that I cannot travel outside of the city, because I need to know that the emergency care is really close to me, and it's hard to travel to another city. So I was staying in my own city, and I was not willing to travel anywhere. So I started my journey with antidepressants. They called it in Bulgaria. I'm not sure about the name in English. Uh, and with some other medication who really calms you down, like they really makes you sleep pretty much all of the time. So I took uh, a sick leave from home for 3 weeks. He told me that I will need 3 weeks to adjust to those medications, and I took a sick leave from work for 3 weeks, and I pretty much slept for 3 weeks, because obviously those medications were so strong that I was able only to to sleep. And afterwards, it after those 3 weeks, it did not get much better, but I was enforced to go to work. But I remember that I was able to lay on the couch and watch two movies only because they were not bothering me at all. It was The Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter, but not all of the series. From the Harry Potter, only the first two of them. And I it was so weird experience because you feel like you want to go out, you want to communicate with people, you want to work, but your body just wants you to lay down and watch those movies. Nothing else was. Uh, I was I was not able to do anything more. No reading, no no nothing. just just watching movies. And after several months of the struggles, I was not really sure which is worse, being in a panic attacks every day or just being like, I don't know, like half a person or even one third of the person being only able to lay down. And those inability to move was a feeling that I have no strain inside my body, like no tonus. Of like no no yes, it was a real physical feeling that I have no energy to move, and even the energy to go to take a shower was an energy I didn't believe I had, and I was going to collapse inside the shower. Sometimes I it was hard even to stand up and get a glass of water, and half of the day I lay in the bed just wanting to drink water, but it's too hard to stand up to get water, so I stay without the water. Really. And I have some urge to eat, and I remember that I gained for like 4 or 5 months. I gained more than 10 kilos. It was constantly gaining, just laying down, some eating and gaining kilos. And this was the time when I said like I had enough of these drugs. I mean, it will not work for me. I get in touch with my doctor, and he switched it. He switched me from one medication to another, then to the third one, and he said that now I will start to feel better, but it doesn't happen anyway. So I thought that it is a time for me to find something else which will help me, and it will not be bought from the pharmacy. And, yeah, and I start to read about yoga, and I made myself a really short, less than a 30 minutes yoga routine with very um, simple exercises because I was not able to do much of them anyways. I read some books about Peter Danuf, which is famous Bulgarian, um, let's say, esoterical teacher. He is pretty. He's pretty famous outside of Bulgaria. He's translated into French for sure. I'm not sure about the English translation, but there was a lot of people in France who follow him. So I know that there is a book that I translated from him in French. So he has some small books that you have to read every day, like a small paragraphs for everyday reading. This is what I took from him, and I found about Peter Dinkov, which is a Bulgarian healer, and he heals the human body with herbs, and he has a lot of recipes with the herbs, and not only the recipes, but he um, has some daily routines, for example, to get this is something that's really helpful. A brush, you need a brush, and you need to start to brush your body, but not when it's wet, when it's dry brushing. And it has to be some nice brush that will not harm your skin, but you have to really brush uh, in the morning, dry brush whole of your body, and it stimulates some lymph or whatever, I don't know, but you immediately start to feel better, and then you can take shower. But yeah, and uh, I start to incorporate in this early daily routine some of his advices and some herbs, and it took me more than 9, maybe like 10 or more months in to go through this self-made routine, and I stopped the the medication, and I went to a normal mode again. Yeah, um, I didn't go to the psychologist back then. Maybe because I was pretty aware of what they're going to do with me, and I thought that it will not work with me because I know what they're going to ask me, and I know what they're going to do with all this talking. Yeah, but back then we didn't have in Bulgaria so much of the psychotherapy variety as we have it now. Now there is so many different kind of psychotherapy that you can choose from that can help you even if you are a psychologist yourself, because there other um, mm, other tools, other ways. Because mainly I work with 3 tools in my psychotherapy, but there are many others which I don't know, and I.
This is very, very good point that you did. How popular in general was such a practice in general in Bulgaria, because I also faced with this, because I also had experience with panic attacks in the past. This was about 10 years ago, and I was lucky. I can say definitely lucky because at the moments when I received one amazing advice that maybe I need that type of consultancy. Um, the first psychologist that I contacted, I found it her on internet, which also was very interesting because I can say that wasn't so popular psychologists to promote themselves on internet in general. She has a website, and from the very beginning, I had that chance to meet with her, and the positive news that she has an experience with panic attacks. This is also, I can say that she has her well-established practices how to help me, because she already works successfully with other people, and I felt that confidence while I worked with her. And the other thing that I'd like to say that um, maybe I don't know how many people that listen to us right now understand that Bulgaria is a small country with small population. Yeah, right now we can say that such a profession become very popular. I don't know why, but this is positive news. But still, it's a problem that we can find a good expert to take care of our mental health in the bigger cities. But in my country, I can say still is a big problem that for small cities are underserved cities. I can say that, especially the case that you had. So you are from Blagoevgrad. This is a city that it's near Sofia, but you have to travel to Sofia. And I remember, yeah, with my psychologist that I worked, also I remember that she had um, clients, patients that traveled from small cities to visit her. Mm-hmm. And yeah, maybe because she is very good as an expert, but also that big problem that unfortunately such a service is it's quite hard to be accessed in small cities, in small places. And I believe that this is not only for Bulgaria. I believe that this is a in general problem for other countries. This is just my.
Yeah. So we as a country are very centralized, and if you want to receive a good care in any field of your life, you need to travel to Sofia, to Plovdiv, some big city, and it you so many of the experts, they don't work on weekends, so you need to go during the week, and if you have a day job, you need to take a leave from this job, but you cannot be absent every week for a day. It's impossible. Yeah, and you usually traveling to the big city and coming back, it will take you maybe 4 hours to get there, to get the consultation and to come back. Maybe you will need like 4 hours. And back then, like 14 or something years ago, it was so impossible.
Yeah, absolutely. And the topic wasn't so popular. I think that maybe for many people, that topic, panic attacks, maybe they could react, oh, come on, again. It's not again, actually. I realize that still many people don't know enough panic attacks. What exactly is this and why it said panic attacks? I believe that you can share some thoughts about the name of such a disease. And yeah, if you like, you can explain a bit. This is the moment when I asked to talk with the expert Milena and to explain a bit that.
Yeah, so the first distinguished feeling in a panic attack is the feeling that you're dying. You maybe do not know what exactly from, but it's this fear of dying right now and nobody can help me. It's very persistent, and maybe more than 90% of people are experiencing during the panic attack. Then the panic attack is often accompanied by something that you feel in your body, like this thing that you cannot take enough oxygen, like you're breathing really hard, but still you feel like there is no oxygen in your body. The pulse is getting really high, like above 120 or more. It is a feeling like you're running, but you're not running. You're just standing still, and you can have some tingling of your hands and legs as well, like some numbness in them. And yeah, you so your body reacts like if this is something huge is happening, but nothing really happens right now. It can this panic attack can come during your sleep, like you're sleeping in the bed and you just woke up suddenly, and all these feelings are in your body, and you don't know what is going on and how to react. And usually people go to the emergency care because they're really stressed that something is going on now, until it happens several times, and somebody tell them that it's not about the body, it's about the mind. So these are and afterwards, after this panic attack went by, you feel very exhausted, like you ran a marathon. You just want to lay down or sleep or just hug yourself or with somebody else and just be left alone for several hours to recover, because it's a huge, huge. Um, um, so this panic attack takes a lot of energy from you for real, and you're very exhausted afterwards. You you can sweat as well pretty intensively.
Yeah, this is also one of the symptoms, and it's normal that you need a rest after such an attack, because as my personal experience, the pressure actually it's massive, I can say. And yeah, one moment when everything is calm, the body is finally in that state to take the rest and say, okay, everything is okay right now. and I can calm down and to try to take the good rest and to recover. I was curious about this is because of my experience and talking with other people that they also I had experience with the panic attacks. And as a part of the therapy that I had is this is related, of course, the roots of the like the reasons for the panic attacks. And my psychologist, she gave me like a list with to do things that I have to do. And I set as a priorities because I was that kind of people that I was a big challenge for me to go outside to be in big supermarkets or something like that. And actually, this is something that you already mentioned, that unfortunately, when you experience something like this definitely affects your life. You'd like to do so many things, but the fear start to control you, and you change the routines and the habits that you never think before that you're gonna face on such a situation, to say I will not visit that place because of that potential panic attack. And she gave me to the task to create a list with things that are challenge for me to set as a priorities, what is most hard for me to do, and so on. And step by step, I try to achieve every successfully to close every task. And I remember that the biggest achievement in my life, something that if someone asked me what is the thing that I'm most proud of, I can say that I took a bus. This was the thing that was something unbelievable for that period of my life, that I can do it. And I still have the ticket of the bus. It's like my trophy, I'm very proud of this. And when I talk with people that they also went to such an experience, everyone has some story. Everyone has something that this definitely that I did. It's one of the biggest thing that I did in my life, because many people that don't have that experience could be surprised. But and if they have to list their achievements, they're gonna say, I bought a house, I worked a dream career, I have a kids and so on. But people with panic attack experience, their achievements, I believe they're different. And I was curious about, do you have similar experience, and is there something that you can consider the one of the biggest step that you did to overcome the panic attacks, and one of the biggest step that prove you that you're in the right direction? Because that moment, I still remember the day when I did this was the moment that I felt that, okay, I can do this and I'm the right direction, because look at me, I'm the boss right now. And yeah.
Yeah, the bus situation is very stressful for a lot of people, not only with the panic attacks, but yeah. Uh, so um, I don't remember the exact um, thing that told me that I'm on the right direction, but I'm a driver, and when I was in that period of severe panic attacks, I was not able to drive. I couldn't imagine me driving while experiencing panic attack or whatever. So I stopped driving outside of the city. Inside of the city, everything's fine, right? So then I took the medication, and I was not able to drive at all with them, even inside the city. So maybe it was the first time that they told me, let's drive outside the city. And I was like, okay, I can drive. But I don't remember the exact situation. But I know that I stopped driving for a while. And then I suddenly find myself in Sofia. So yeah, that must be this period of time when I was, yeah, it was, I called my um, uh, psychiatrist in Sofia, and I told him that I'm going to stop this medication because I don't feel well with them. And I asked him to give me this way I'm going to do that. I'm going to stop them because I cannot stop them right away. I should take smaller dosages. And he was like, do you really think that's a great idea? And I was like, yes, I found myself other ways to help, and I need to start stopping this medication. So please give me this smaller dosages. And it was really funny that he gave me this list of how to stop the medication, but he never asked me what are these other ways that I found. Yeah, and maybe I start to drive in that period of time when I stopped my medication, and I was getting stronger by doing all these other routines. Yeah, but it was nice time. It happened so smoothly for me. This transition, it happened so smoothly that I don't have exact moment like you did, but I I can still recall some small things from back then. Yeah.
Do you have any, let's say, like a tricks or tactics, speaking about the moment of panic attacks? Because I think it's going to be eventually helpful if someone that listen to us right now that experience with panic right now with panic attacks. Did you have something that realized that helped you to manage the attack? Because I discovered mine, and I can say that water is the one of thing that helped me, especially cold water. If I just drink a small piece of cold water, or if it's possible also to put a water somewhere in my body, here, that part of the body, also on the hands. I know that this affects in general the nerve system because of the drastic change of the temperature. And yeah, other thing that I doing, something that I didn't know, and my psychologist told me that this is very popular practice. I started to notice the things around me. At the moment when I felt the panic attack, and I'll just look at around me and say, okay, red car, that guy, blue shirt, this. I just started to point something. And if I see how someone eats, I started to think about the taste of the food, for example, or the smell of the food. And then my psychologist told me that it's a very popular practice to try to how to say it, to activate the different sensors. And this also helped the mind to calm. I work with eyes, with ears, with every different sensor that we used to use to interact with our environment. And this also helped me in general to
Calm down. Okay. So uh, this technique is called to fire the sensors of your sensors. So you can start to notice how many colors you see now, and each color is a number, so you can count to 50 if there is so much colors. Then you start to count how many things you hear, then how many things you sense on your body. And if this practice helps you, it means that your panic attack is not severe. It's mild, because only if you switch the focus from what you feel to what you see or hear, then if it helps you, that means that your panic attack is a very mild one. If it's more intense, it will not help you at all. So with the more tense um, panic attacks, you can use water, of course, but you need to take some kind of shower or bath. So you need to feel the flow of the water. The colder it is, the better. So go to take a shower if you are at home or somewhere when you have access to shower, and take as cold shower as you can handle. Usually the warm one will not help as much as the cold one, but still it is considered as an average panic attack. not strong, but not that strong enough. Another thing that can help with this middle size, I will say, panic attacks is breathing. Um, there is a coherent breathing that, yes, it's very simple, but you need to use some kind of app on your phone to guide you, because you need to take four, um, um, like the, no, not four, but the interval of breathing and exhaling should be even. Otherwise, it will not work. Um, so you maybe can start with four, how do you say secundi? No, in English, seconds. Okay, yeah. So you need to start with 4 seconds breathing and 4 seconds exhaling, and for no more than 9 minutes. So no other variation will work. Only 4 seconds breathing, 4 seconds exhaling for 9 minutes. Then you stop. You will feel way better. Then take like 1 hour break, and then you can repeat those 9 minutes. But don't go over these 9 minutes, because it will activate other feelings in your body which will disturb you. If this 4 seconds is enough for you, just go on with them for a week, and then you can go to 5 seconds breathing and 5 seconds exhaling for 9 minutes, for no more than 9 minutes. And you can repeat it as much during your day as you want. It will not harm you if it's not longer than 9 minutes. It's very nice exercise for sleeping. If you cannot sleep, just start breathing like that, and in your 4th or 5th minute, you will be asleep. And it, yeah, and it's within the range of this, not very mild, but not so intense uh, uh, panic attack. They're like a middle. But if it's really intense, like you, when you experience really intense panic attack, you cannot do anything else. You're just focused on your experience right now, and it's no water and no breathing can affect you, like cannot calm you. Then you should talk with your healthcare provider for some medication that you can take just for those moments to ease the symptoms, to a point where you can apply the breathing and the water, because sometimes they can be so intense that you cannot apply anything else. Like it's impossible. Some people are just like hugging themselves in the corner and shaking. So it is not possible to think about breathing or going to the bathroom. They say that they feel that they are going to die in the bathroom or somewhere. So now, in those severe situations, people need some kind of medication just to calm a little bit the body.
Yeah, I know. Also, I have a friend that she also use a medication to help her, and maybe this is the moment to send that message to people, because I know that many people has that stigma about what we should think about someone that is on medication right now. In most of the cases, it's not a positive. But meanwhile, when we have a headache, for example, we used to take a meds, and there is no problem. Every physical pain that we felt in our bodies, we are so open to talk a medicine.
Yeah.
But when we talk about our mentality, that it's so connected with physical pains, somehow our attitude in general, I'm talking for society, it's changed one uh, from one side to the other side, and people that use take a medicine are someone judge them and say how, or maybe you are not okay in general, and so on. And I believe that the medicine are very important to understand that as they help us when we have a teeth pain or headache or something, they are also there to help us for our emotions.
Yeah, exactly. Like my personal journey was well described in the literature, which I found later on. Usually, when people experience some kind of um, mental disorder, which is making their day-to-day life so hard, almost impossible to go on with, you need to go first of all maybe to the psychologist, and he will assess if you need psychiatric care or not. Because if the symptoms are so severe, then this patient needs a psychiatrist to prescribe the medication. So the person to calm down a little bit, to start to go with daily life routine and care and job and whatever, and then to go back to the psychologist to look inside of him what went wrong and what needs to be worked with in order those symptoms to disappear, not because of the medication, because the medication cannot make you cope with your losses, with your let's say some things in life that you don't like about you, for example, your traumas. If you were bullied in school, if somebody beat you at home, if your parents are divorced, if you experience divorce yourself, if you lose a child, medicine cannot help you overcome those issues. They can only make you calmer a little bit, so you can go to psychotherapists to help you overcome whatever came on your path. So this is what pretty much happened to me. After the medication calmed me a lot, I found my other ways, which are not psychotherapists, but this is what I found with whatever I had uh, as a resources back then, because going to a psychologist back then in Bulgaria was not so easy, and the people that I can choose from were not that good qualified. Now with the internet, it's so much easier. I can access pretty much all the psychologists and psychotherapists in Sofia within my house, but it was not like that like 14 years ago. So when people come to my office or my friends or whatever approach me with a problem, the first step is to evaluate if you need a little bit of medication just to go on with your daily life. Because if a mother of two come to my office telling me that she cannot go up to the store to even buy a bread and to feed her children, then I cannot help you with 2 or 3 sessions. She needs to go to psychiatrist to get a medication to calm herself down, to start taking care of the children first of all, start taking care of herself, and then come to my office then to see what went wrong. So she got to that stage.
Yeah, I really love how to explain this moment that it's not only the panic attacks, as my psychologist said. You have to be happy that you experience this, because this is the moment that you're gonna learn a lot about self.
Yeah.
Something that somehow you prefer to avoid, now is there, and this is your chance. So try to hug that chance, try to take that chance, because the panic attacks us for this. And I believe that most of people that experience this, actually the biggest journey to healing this is to face with the real problems, and the psychologic actually can help, what you already mentioned, and to work with them. And at the moment when they accept those things, did the proper things to fix them, maybe, let's say, depends on the situation. This is the moment when they are ready to move forward.
Yeah. And another thing about panic attack, and this is exactly what happens with me as well, is that you will have it for a lifetime. I haven't experienced a panic attack for more than 6 years, like I was in a remission for 6 years, and I was like, oh, okay. It was like a period of time, and then I become a mother myself, and I have a lot of anxiety around raising up a kid, and I start to experience panic attacks again. So they're always waiting around the corner. Yeah, and this is what many. Yeah, but now they're not so severe as they were back then. And I don't take medications, and uh, have I do psychotherapy for myself now because life goes on, and you have a stress pretty much every day, and if I don't take care of it, I believe that those panic attacks will come again. And with those little tricks that we already spoke about, and with the help of a colleague of mine, yeah, things are manageable. Like they're rare.
What was the role of your family and let's say your friends? Because I'll be honest, I had my my challenge to speak about this, and this is also was related to my problem. Part of the things that I have to accept, and but I can say that from my perspective, that support that I received was also very uh, crucial, and I can say one of the power at the moment when I feel the first power that I can do this, I can overcome this, is at the moment when I receive that support. What about you?
Yeah. So generally, people who live close with their family and receive support from the family are going through life much easier with with every aspect of life, not only mental health aspect. But of course, I was very strong supported from my family. Uh, I was single back then when it all happened, so I received support from my parents. They were next to me when I was experiencing all these panic attacks and fear and a lot of cry, of course. And afterwards, when I met my husband, of course, I told him about what what I'm coming with. And when I experience now some very mild panic attacks, he's supporting me. But yeah, without the support of someone, it will be so much difficult, almost impossible to overcome uh, panic attacks. That's why that people who are alone, away from family and from friends, some most of the times experience some suicidal thoughts or behaviors, just only because the panic attack is so severe that they said, I prefer to die once and to stop this madness of I cannot die 3 times a week. It's too much to to feel like that. I just want to get over it. And without the support of a human being next to you, it's very difficult, very difficult. And when you now I speak as a professional, when I examine person with a panic attack, this is one of my not first but like third or fourth question. Do you live with someone? Do you have someone close to you? Do you have a support group like friends or someone, because we need to engage them if a panic attacks are very severe. So yeah, it's part of the access uh, assessment, and it's a very crucial to explain to someone that lives with you what exactly is going on, how do you feel, how they can support you. Because in my case, when I was in that very intense panic attack, I wanted just someone to stay next to me but not talking, because each word is was making me feel even more anxious. I was like, just stay next to me, don't talk, just stay next to me. And if I want to go to the emergency, you will take me, but just wait to see if I will need it now or not. And when I start to calm myself and to get back to the reality, I was like, okay, you can start talking now. Just to, like, tell me something, whatever. I need a story, like this kind of story that somebody's telling me, are like shifting the focus away from what I experienced, and I'm grasping to the story now about whatever story. And this is how I go out from my panic attacks. But this is me. Someone else will will find something else that is helpful. Yeah.
Unique, I can say, and I can say, definitely it's interesting to listen to you because yeah, you have your approach. Everyone has a different approach. I'd like to mention also that maybe it's good to know for many people that it's not necessary to feel that you're gonna die. And I'm living example about this. And this was the part of the challenge for my psychologist that you know during our conversation today, you mentioned a couple of times about that feeling that most of the people think that they're gonna die, and this is also like an additional trigger of the attack, I can say. But I don't know, I'm just different, but I didn't have that feeling, and I remember the work with the psychologist, and one moment she just asked me directly. She said, "Okay, but do you have any feelings about that you're gonna die?" And I was so 100% sure that no, because I had experience of this. I had a situation in my life, and that I can say that this was the scariest moment in my life, for my physical life. And I still remember the moment that I almost gave up, but maybe this wasn't the moment, and I had that chance to like the cats, just one more life I have, and now I can continue to life. And because of that real life experience, I can say, um, I didn't hit that thoughts and that fear of that I'm gonna die. And I think that I'm not the only one, and that's why I'd like to say this, that talking about panic attacks could increase a lot of discomforts in our body, the heart. Yeah, you can sweat also. But also, I can say that I have a lot of discomfort in my stomach. I can say that I felt the panic attacks on my stomach, not my heart. So, yeah, the common symptoms are, you already listed them so well, but just for the audience to know that there there is no exact the proper symptoms, and just someone check it and say, okay, if you cover it 5 out of 10, so you have a panic attack. So the experience could be different for everyone, and to be clear,
Yeah. So in Bulgaria, the only professional that can put you a diagnosis of panic disorder is a psychiatrist. This is our medical system, not the psychologist, not the general practitioner, nobody else. No. Some people go to neurologists. No, only psychiatrists can evaluate and put a diagnosis. So no other specialist is qualified within in Bulgaria. This is our structure here. So I I can so whatever your experience, don't put yourself a diagnosis. Just go to the psychiatrist in our case, because we are talking about the mental health, and let them evaluate you, because some disease can cover each other. I don't know how exactly to explain it. It's difficult to explain it even in Bulgarian, but yes,
related, and you cannot separate them into say they're the opposite things or something.
uh, some anxieties can be hidden uh, under some panic attacks and vice versa. So that's why psychiatrists, they have tests, and with a lot of talking and some tests around, they can get you with the proper diagnosis. Yeah, but yeah, because a lot of young people, they come to me with a diagnosis that they put themselves with, which is not okay. It, it's okay to read about what you're experiencing, but you cannot say like for if your stomach hurts, it can come from a variety of reasons, and you go to gastroenterologist to run a test and to say what exactly is hurting you in your stomach and why how can we treat it. So if you experience some mental health uh, issues, don't uh, put yourself within a diagnosis. Just go check with a hair care provider and yeah to see, because if you know what it is exactly, you know how to approach it more efficiently. Hmm. Yeah. Uh-huh. So yeah, when people with panic attacks come to my office, I like them so much because I I know how to sit down. I know exactly what they're going through, and it's easier for me to help, and I some kind of like them better than all the rest of them because we have so much in common, so much in common. But yeah, how my this is maybe the biggest um, way my personal life affects. Yeah, my
I also believe in general that as an expert, because of that personal experience, definitely helps you to understand better.
better, yeah. And it's easy because you usually panic attacks. You can treat them pretty well, and you will need not so much time. I mean, when someone comes to you with a huge childhood trauma, it's so hard to deal with this because whatever happens in childhood will stay there forever. And sometimes you will not feel um, so much relief. But when something happens in your adult life, and it's so easy to treat and to get over with. So panic attacks are usually, not always, but usually something went wrong not so uh, further ago. It was something that went wrong recently. And it is easier to treat, and usually the outcome is it's it's nice, it's good. I mean, it's a recovery because people with their traumatized childhood, they experience a lot of mental health issues in the early teenagers, or even as a child as well. Yeah, so it's so much easier to work with people with panic attacks.
Which you would like to share to our listeners, especially that those one that experience right now with mental health issues.
Issues. Yeah. So first, it's very important to get someone on board with you, whatever it's a friend or a family member. You, you need to have some trusty next to you. Then, if you uh, ex- uh, like you feel that those mental health struggles have a huge impact on your daily life, this is a point where you need to start looking for a professional support. Uh, you should be able to travel, you should be able to go to work, you should be able to buy your necessities from the store. If you're not able, so you need to be able to take care of children or of an animal at home if you, whatever your providing care to. If you struggle with some of those things, please seek some help, get someone on board with you, and don't be ashamed, because those mental health issues are happening to everyone in some stages of their life. Usually, the like psychiatry is divided by two: severe conditions and common conditions. So they're common because they happen to everyone in some stages of their life. If it's going to be some phobia or some panic attack or some depression, or some mood of those spectrum of depression, or some mood of mania. So it happens to everyone in some stages of their life. So don't be ashamed. It's a condition like every other health condition. So it's okay to seek for help. Yeah.
And before finish our chat, our amazing conversation,
Yeah.
my last question is, if you could meet your younger self,
Oh,
what advice you gonna give to her?
different. My younger self. Yeah. I would say to her, maybe, yes, it was hard. It is hard, but it's worth it. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, definitely. When successfully went through something, definitely it's worth it.
Yeah, yeah. Those long paths of experienced panic attacks taught me myself so many things, and with these panic attacks, I discovered so many ways to help myself other than medications and psychotreatment. I mean, there's so many other ways. So it, it's worth it. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that amazing conversation and the insightful thoughts that you share today. I hope that we're gonna have a chance again to have a similar talk. Maybe
Yeah.
next time I'm gonna invite the expert
Okay.
uh, to talk more about the disease. But yeah, right now I can say that was amazing and also helpful. Again, to talk with someone with similar experience.
Yeah.
And yeah, I appreciate a lot.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye bye.